everybody, and welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that could eat gingerbread every single day of its life, or just keep eating it and eating it and not stopping.
But you fat.
Why'd you get fat?
Gingerbread makes you fat.
Gingerbread makes you fat? My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And this is The Christmas House, which is apparently a big deal for the Hallmark Channel. Like, they came out swinging on this one. Because it is... it has multiple... it stars... There's multiple actual people that you'd know, which is impressive for these kinds of things. And it's got a director with a lot of... Not so much TV movie experience, but a lot of TV shows that we all love and enjoy. At least you should if you're not a Nazi. And for the very first time in Hallmark movie history, it has a LGBT couple as a main character.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, see, it's progressive. It's weird that it took them to 2020 to make this a thing. But hey, better late than never.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, and this is also, there is technically, a single main character, but this is probably the first time we've had an ensemble, cast, where it's not kind of hinging on our two leads.
That's true. It's a whole family dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, so, which is why, first of all, I'll tell you what the plot of the movie is. The Christmas House is a movie. Let me try that again. The Christmas House, starring Robert Buckley, Jonathan Bennett, Anna Aora, Treat Williams, Sharon Lawrence, and Brad Harder. Phyllis and Bill, who I will call Mom and Dad for the rest of this movie, because I don't think they ever mentioned their names.
They probably did.
I think they mentioned Bill, but I do not remember Phyllis.
That's the mom.
I know, but they don't... Did they ever say that?
I think like once or twice he called her Phil.
Oh, that could be it. Anyway, they hope that having their two sons home over the holidays will help them find a way to grow stronger as a family. While there, both sons reveal that they are also struggling with problems of their own. So like we said, we got 6 major characters in this one. So, whereas usually I talk about, like, the 2 main characters and then give you, like, 8 or 9 movies that they've been in, I've just taken all 6 of them and I've given them, like, the one thing you would basically know them for. So, first one is kind of our lead, Robert Buckley. You probably know him, well, I don't know about your life, but I know him from, he was Major Lillywhite in iZombie, which is a show that we started watching a little bit ago.
That's true. We should finish that.
I was going to say, we never finished it,
no.
But I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he became like a zombie hunter, or did he become a zombie himself? Or?
No, he didn't put the fucking pieces together that his girlfriend / fiance / ex-fiance was a fucking
that's
zombie.
Right, they broke up.
Yeah, because he thought she was just being a weirdo. And it's like, no, clearly she became a zombie, asshole. Did you not see any zombie movie ever?
That's right.
And then he, was attacked by a zombie or something. And so he decided he was going to kill them all.
Yeah, okay, he did become like a zombie slayer kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long that gimmick's gonna last.
I don't know. Apparently that show goes off the rails.
I love shows that go off the rails.
Anyway, he was my favorite character on that show.
Much like his in-universe show that...
Yes. And he's my favorite character in this movie, too. Yeah. Anna Aora, A-Y-O-R-A, I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. She was in Captain Marvel.
What?
Yeah, she was an agent. Like, she wasn't like a major character, but she was in Captain Marvel with a name and everything.
Oh.
Bill is played by Treat Williams, who, you might not know the name, but he was in a movie called Hair in the 70s. It was a musical.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know it by, like, the name, but you know the song. Give me a head with hair. Long, beautiful hair.
Just off the top of your head, what's the plot of Hair?
I hope it's about hair. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's about a guy who's like a button-down suit type gets sick of the world and then goes live with hippies. It's also the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
You're saying words that I know individually.
That's the song. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of... You guys know. Right? Sharon Lawrence, who plays the mom, Phyllis, I guess, was in NYPD Blue.
Oh. Was she one of the NYPD Blues?
I have to imagine. I never saw NYPD Blue.
Neither did I.
That was a little...
it was too intense or whatever.
I was going to say, that was a little over my age line at the time. And Jonathan Bennett, who I kind of thought you would know, but you didn't recognize him?
No, who is he?
He is the host of Cake Wars.
Bitch what?
Yeah.
Really?
He's just straight up the host.
Oh. I don't watch Cake Wars, so maybe that's the issue.
Well, I thought maybe you'd seen him because it's a Food Network show, yeah?
Oh, okay, but you have to understand, in the Food Network universe, we swap out hosts every season, if not every week. At this point, I don't even bother remembering their names.
That's true. If you don't make it to the merge, I don't bother learning your name.
You get me. They all get nicknames until they make it to the merge, and then I learned their names.
And the only other person in the movie who doesn't really have a lot to his name is Brad Harder, but he was in an episode of The New Twilight Zone. So aces.
Good job, buddy.
The writer is Erin Rodman, and this is her first movie.
She did well.
She did do well. The director, however, this is not his first movie. He is doing a lot of TV work, like I said earlier. And he did a show that if you haven't seen, you really should. Cobra Kai.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's not even the biggest one. By the way, it's on Netflix. Even if you didn't see The Karate Kid, watch this show. You know how The Karate Kid went. Everybody does.
Yeah. Illegal can kick to the face.
Sure. Watch this show because it's a good show. The other television show he did, which is another good show, but I know you've seen, is Firefly.
What?
Firefly. He did an episode called Safe.
Which one is Safe?
That is, she's a witch. Yeah, but she's our witch. So cut her the hell down.
What does that make us?
Big damn heroes, sir.
Aren't we just?
That's that episode. So we got some heft behind this one.
Damn hillbillies don't even know the Firefly doesn't have artillery on it.
Don't even know Firefly doesn't have guns on it. Sorry, that was my Vince McMahon impersonation. Got a lot of beef in this movie.
We did just see Vince the other day on TV.
We did. But yeah, so I will say they did well with it. At least I think. And you have to care what I think because you're listening to my podcast. Haha, idiots. So, so yeah. That's all I got. You got anything fancy?
No.
Cool. Let's get started with the movie then. Act 1, curtain up. I'm sorry, we seem to have accidentally put on an episode of Law and Order. This movie starts with like a super tense like legal scene that you're just like, okay, this is weirdly out there for a Hallmark movie. Mike is a lawyer, and he is super in-depth, ladies and gentlemen of the jury kind of thing. He brings out a lot of evidence that exonerates his client.
Like at the last minute.
And is like, I'll be home for Christmas. And like, it starts off normal and then gets like weirder and weirder as you go. And so I was like, either this is like something strange, or Netflix or Hallmark stopped giving a shit. Yeah,
like this was like, I was like, one, this courtroom's decked out for Christmas. That never happens.
Yeah.
Like what courtroom's happening? Who has evidence at the 11th hour? What is happening right now?
So the plaintiff gets exonerated, and she's like, thank you. Now I'll make it home for Christmas. And he's like, not a problem. And counselor, you're out of order. And the camera zooms in, and it says handsome justice. Handsome justice. And it is an in-universe TV show. Mike is an actor. And they are at
taping of
a screening of the season finale, right before Christmas, just to like show the crew, and it's a super fun time. Mike gives a speech, because why would you turn down a captive audience?
And I've seen this show. I've seen all 12 seasons of this show. I've hated every second of it, but I'll watch it 4 times.
Exactly. They all get to go home, and his agent... Is that his agent, I think?
Is it his agent?
Or the director? Do we see this lady again? I can't remember.
We see her on a treadmill, and then we see her at the end of the movie.
Okay, so it's his agent.
Yeah.
His agent is like, hey, that was great. And he's like, yeah, it would be greater if we had a season renewal. And they're like, yeah, we don't know if you're going to get picked up for another season. I think it's season 3. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't know why. We're doing great ratings. We're even better than that Pet Detective show.
You leave Duck Detective out of this.
Despite the high ratings, it looks like it's going to be canceled. But they want to keep it under wraps so the crew can, like, have a Christmas. So that's kind of nice of them. Mike's parents call, and I guess they're going to get together for the holidays. But they want to do something special. They want to bring back the Christmas house. And I know what you're thinking. Fuck's a Christmas house? Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know. But they treat it like it's a big deal. Apparently, it was a tradition that they did for many, many years when they were children. And then they stopped when Mike moved away. So now he's coming back, and they never did it again. And so they're doing it for Christmas. It's been 20 years, I guess, because I wrote that down. So he's bringing his brother and his brother's husband, and they're all gonna make this thing work, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Cut to Mike's brother Brandon and his husband Jake, who are walking off the plane and checking their phone. I think it's Brandon, is just like locked to his phone, and he says, is it possible to die of suspense? They are waiting for the adoption to go through. They are trying to adopt a child, and they're just glued to the phone. Brandon and Mike meet at the airport. Mike has lost his luggage, which is a subplot that I just realized is never taken care of again.
No, but he has infinite money, so he just bought more clothes.
That is true. And he's trying to use the but I'm a famous guy, please give me preferential treatment.
It does not work.
It does not work. And this airport lady, like all airport ladies, is a bitch.
Fact. We've been through enough airports to know this.
Mm-hmm. Apparently this Christmas house thing is a big endeavor, because Brandon knows what he's getting into. Jake has never seen it before. So he's like, how bad can it be? And they're both like, he doesn't know. That poor soul. So Brandon's like, okay, I'll go get the rental car. And Mike and Brandon lock eyes. And like the good, the bad, and the ugly is heard in the back. Bow, wow, 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 wow. Brandon hands his bag to Jake, and then they run like hell in the other direction. They start like a foot race to see who gets there first. And Jake is like, yep, that's the guy from Handsome Justice. At the house, Mike stares at a picture in his old bedroom of himself and a little girl doing a magic act. Apparently that was his thing when he was younger. And then they were friends, but then they separated when they got older, and then she went on to do stuff. She was married, had a kid, but they just went through a divorce. So, you know, that's probably not gonna come into fruition at all. Mom blows a whistle for some reason, and she goes on a full militaristic style family meeting to put together this Christmas house.
Yes, and if you're going to do that, you need a whistle.
This is true. And she points to the screen, and a presentation starts. To which I think it's Brandon who goes, oh, come on, who taught Dad PowerPoint?
I took a class at the YMCA.
Yeah, I took a class at the library. The dad is retired. This is important, and for some reason, a point of contention in this movie. We'll get to that later.
Well, they're both retired, right?
Yeah, you're right. He's been retired for a while. Mom has just retired.
That's true.
She was a teacher, and then she was a principal, and now she's nothing. That was me.
Well...
She was a principal, she was a teacher, then she was a principal, then she retired.
Well, as big a bitch as she acts in this movie, she might as well be nothing.
Does. Oh my god, you guys are gonna see. If you haven't seen this movie, you don't know. Anyway. The house. The Christmas house started as a thing. They used to go on these Christmas house tours where people decorate their house to the nines and bring people through. And they thought, hey, we can do that too, but better, because fuck y'all. And so it began.
And this is not a small house, guys. This is like a 2-story, 4 or 5 bedroom house.
This is a big house, but not too big.
It's
like
big.
Some of these people have like mansions. This is just a house where 2 people who had like dual incomes, very good jobs, would have had. 2 kids, a guest room, a couple guest rooms. So it's not like Jesus, but it's, this is a proper house for these kind of people. And they're just like, they're going to decorate it. They have lights, floats, animatronics, those inflatable decoration things you put on your lawn. At one point she goes, step 3, trains. And Jake goes, trains? And Brandon goes, they have their own room. This isn't important, but for some reason they show a picture of Mike with one eyebrow. Just because it's in the PowerPoint. And Jake laughs, and Mike goes, I fell asleep on the couch, and Brandon thought it would be funny to maim me. And Brandon goes, it's called manscaping, look it up. So this whole thing is just an endeavor to decorate this house in the most Christmassy way possible. It's the kind of people... You ever see the Great Christmas Light Fight?
Oh yeah, that whole thing where they went way too ham with the lights.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here.
But also inflatables and candy canes. And we're talking like thousands of dollars of decorations.
Exactly. Point is, respect. The next morning, Mike comes down in very ill-fitting clothes from high school because they lost his luggage. And an old friend from the time he was a magician is in the house for some reason, I guess to embarrass him.
No, she's a real estate agent.
I know, but we don't know that yet.
Oh.
I'm reading my notes and cryogenic? Chronological order. Oh. Wow, brain no good. So, anyway, she's here. She is a real estate agent.
Stop it!
But we don't find that out for a couple of scenes. She's talking to Mom. For funsies. Anyway, she's also here to help with the Christmas house. Because, why not? Mike and his dad walk down the street to talk about how kind of a spur of the moment this thing was. Apparently, Mom and him are very planning kind of people, and this kind of came out of nowhere, and that's very out of character for them. According to Dad, there has been a lot of change this year, and because Mom is retired, and this is their first year since, they want to make this a kind of a special Christmas for her. Let the suspicion begin. Back at the Christmas house, they are loading a giant truck with ornaments. Brandon and Mike are hauling some big, heavy oak thing to, is it just a table? Is it a table? Dresser? Hauling a big, heavy oak table to the truck, and Dad goes, back when you were kids, you guys would just try to compete with each other to see who gets the most boxes. And they both stop, put down the table, lock eyes.
Western music in the background. I
think it's Mike who cracks his neck. And they both go, winner gets $20. Done. And then they run. Mike grabs a box and gets stopped by his childhood friend, whose name is Andy, by the way. I should have mentioned that earlier, and I didn't. Andy comes by with coffee and helps the family to move stuff. She even brings just a truck full of movers. Because she has that kind of capability. But are they moving stuff in or moving stuff out?
It looks like they were moving stuff out.
They're moving stuff out to move Christmas stuff in?
Yeah.
Is that the implication?
Yeah, because did you see how decked out their house was? There was no normal furniture in there.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. That's definitely what happened.
I do like that they were moving that oak table. It's just like, it seems so much heavier than last time we moved it. That's because it's real oak. Was it always this heavy? I bought it last year.
Yeah. There are a lot of... You know how I write down quotes that I find entertaining? I usually get one or two. I have like 5 or 6. Like, the
writer is very funny.
This is the most entertaining script they've had. Case in point, Brandon's got a box, and he says, I'd like to point out that we're doing all the heavy lifting while Mike seems to be on a coffee break. And Mike says, and I'd like to point out we're far too old to be tattling on each other. Andy reveals that she's a real estate broker and that Mom and Dad are her new clients. Mike puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that they are selling his childhood home.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Brandon is pretty okay with all this. Mike is freaking the fuck out. But Brandon's like, yeah, it makes sense. They're an old couple. Usually they downsize at this point. There's nothing weird about it. It's in the past. It's time to go forward. But Mike seems to think that there's more to it than there is. We meet Andy's son Noah for the first time. And Andy says, I know you from TV. I've seen your show. And Mike goes, oh, nice. Always nice to meet a fan. And he says, I've seen it. Not that I liked it. Listen, you little bastard.
Like I said, I've seen all 12 seasons. Didn't say I liked it.
Mom and Brandon reminisce about the time they would bake when Brandon was a kid, and she would teach him how to bake. And Mom says, "It's like, oh, I might go visit you after the holidays." And Brandon's like, "Oh, that'd be nice. You and Dad can come down." And she goes, "Just me." And Brandon does not pick this hint up at all and goes, "Ah, nice, girls' trip." Brandon. Come on, honey.
I think at this point, Brandon just doesn't care. Mom and Dad are going through a tiff, and he doesn't he's got bigger, adoption shit to deal with.
That's true. He and his husband are in their own world because they got some shit to do.
They got some shit to do, and now clearly Mom's dropping hits of, please ask me about my drama, and Brandon's not fighting at all.
That's exactly what's going on. Oh my god.
No, he's too gay for this right now. He can't.
He reminds me of a slightly more animated David Rose.
I love David Rose so much.
So yeah, I have there's something up with their relationship that they're not going to reveal it yet. While Mike and Andy are out getting the several goddamn Christmas trees needed for this house.
Apparently there's 6 of them they need.
6 overall. Mike gets a call from his agent. His TV show has been officially canceled.
Oh.
That sucks. In the house, Mom has a wistful flashback of early Christmas house, centering on her and her husband giving gifts to each other. It's all in sepia tone, and she does the JD Scrubs, tilt and lean back. Da-da-na-na-na-na-na.
And he gave her an ornament with all their names on it, and it's very cute.
It is a very cute ornament.
But I have had many ornaments over my life. Mm-hmm. She has 2 rambunctious sons.
Yeah.
That ornament should have broken 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm here to say, as somebody who was a rambunctious son, or a rambunctious 30-year-old, that would break now.
20 minutes after she got it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why it was such good condition. Dad kept replacing it every year with an exact replica.
He's smart. Keep him.
He does seem like a nice guy.
Mike and Andy are fluffing garland.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently Mike is the best damn garland fluffer this side of the Mississippi.
That sounds crude, and I don't know why.
It's the word fluffer. They do say it a lot, and I think it's almost a joke. but like in the sense like Animaniacs was a joke. Like, I found prints. No, fingerprints. I don't think so. Not quite like that's the joke, but like you see where we're getting at. However, Andy has to go show another house, so he figures, screw it, leave your son here, and we'll put him to work. And the kid finds Mike's old magic kit, and he immediately takes a liking to it. And they talk about how Mike and Andy would play birthday parties, and then for Christmas they would do a big show here at the Christmas house. And Noah wants to learn how to do magic, so that's his B-plot. Brad and Jake are outside, decorating outside, and they are freaking out about this adoption thing. We find out why in a little bit. Like, obviously there's a lot of pressure. There's extra pressure on them, and it's revealed in a bit. And Jake calms him down by basically saying, in a year, we're going to be decorating our own house as a family of 3. And that's really nice. And we have our very first gay kiss. It was very sweet, and it was very well shot. On top of that, it's one of the few actual times we have a kiss in the middle of the movie without it being broken up.
It was later broken up. They were like, oh, we can get through this. And it was a very tender moment. Mm-hmm. And then Mike sticks his head and be like, dinner!
Yes, but it actually happens. It wasn't true. Like, uh-oh.
Well, they're already together. What more do they need?
Exactly. And that's why there's very few, if you come to our live shows, which you should, we have the Hallmark movie drinking game. And there are so many of these cliches that we call out when we watch these movies. There was almost none of them in this one. There's a couple of them, obviously. But it was just, it was refreshing to see.
Do they sober up if it's the anti-cliche?
Yeah, you know what? Every time there's an anti-cliche, you have to stick your head in the water. So as they go in, they talk to each other and they say, do you think when we have our kid, we'll decorate like this? No. Oh, thank God.
Kids, when we have kids, are we going to decorate the house like
hell
that?
yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to our house. Welcome to our house. Something, Florida.
Okay, later on in this movie, you'll find out why this is a bad idea.
Yeah. You're going to... We'll get to it, but I just started writing, like, what I thought. Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't even dictating the movie anymore. I was just like, wow! Mom gets really nostalgic over a teapot for some reason.
Yeah, she was pregnant with their first kid, which was Mike, or whatever.
Yeah, it was their last Christmas without the kids. Mm-hmm. And it's another one, like you said. Please ask me what's going on.
And not even the husband's like biting. He's deeply confused.
He could give a shit at this point.
Like, he got it wrong when they got the teapot. And admittedly, it's probably been like 30, 40 years, right?
I believe Mike is in his 40s at this point.
So it's been like 40 years, right? Mm-hmm. And he's just like, oh, we got this when you were pregnant with our second kid. No, we got it when I was pregnant with our first kid. And I'm like, dude, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. How do you remember these things?
And it was like, it's like, oh, we had this. We went to the Christmas shop right before Brandon was born. He goes, no, it was actually before Mike was born. It was our last Christmas without the children.
And so everyone in that room no-sold it, which was the funniest thing.
Occasionally they'll have there'll be a pause where they'll look at each other like, okay.
Mom's gone nuts.
Moving right along. Mike gets it. For some reason, I said Mikey here. Mikey gets his old case of magic tricks to deliver it to Noah, but he gives it to Andy first, so she can see like, oh, it's the old Christmas trunk. That's kind of nice. Andy says, Noah asked me about stage partners. Apparently, there's a girl in his class he wants to perform with, and Mike goes, "Go Noah."
To quote Cobra Kai, nice.
Is she hot? She's very smart. Is she hot? She's super nice. Is she hot? She's super fun to be around too. Is she hot? Yeah, she's hot. Nice. Go watch Cobra Kai. It's on Netflix. It was on YouTube Red, but...
What's in the trunk? Don't know. Found it in a garbage bin.
Don't know. Found it in a dumpster. That was the joke I should have made. This is the problem watching these movies separately, is you're funnier than I am.
I'm not funnier than you.
So you come up with these jokes, and I'm like, damn it! I should have. Andy is having trouble breaking into the new town as a real estate agent because there's been a real estate agent here for a long time, and she's got, like, longevity over her. So Mike offers to post something to his Twitter because he's a super rich famous guy. And she's like, no, I'll get it myself. And that's the end of that.
Is it, though?
It's not. At dinner that night, Mike tells the family that Handsome Justice was canceled. Mom and Dad share the weirdest look with each other.
What do you mean weirdest? I don't remember this.
They were just very like, oh, that's sad. And they look at each other like, no.
Oh, he's never going to get work in this town again?
Yeah.
This was a fluke.
Yeah, that poor bastard. Sorry about iZombie. Mike takes Noah to the magic shop, and they meet a guy who is I'm pretty sure the guy from the Angel Tree, because he looks exactly like Squirrely Dan.
No, that's a different dude.
Well, they're both big, overweight white dudes with beards. Like,
that's true, but the other guy was 6 feet tall. This guy's only like regular feet tall.
Well, maybe the sizing is up, but they look similar.
Yeah.
But it looks like Squirrely Dan from Letterkenny.
If he was really into magic.
And he's super, like... I think he's doing a John Hurt impression from Harry Potter.
You think so?
Ollivander.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because he's got an accent, and he's very wistful, and, like, we must find you your own magician's name. Noah. Noah the Nimble. And you're just like, okay.
I thought he was doing a great impression of the Skids if he didn't do any rips.
But it'd be two. Andy gets a lot of hits on her website all of a sudden. She clicks a thing, and Mike has shot a commercial for her with her son. A cute little commercial. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, she likes it. Like, she looks at it and she smiles and she's like, "Aw." But like later in the movie, she gets mad at him for it. Okay.
And you're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no.
Mm-hmm. Noah shows some of his new tricks to Mike and his dad, and Dad has a flashback to Mike doing magic for him when he was younger, and then like Mike is like looking out the window at Andy, like young Mike is looking at young Andy, because Dad is like, oh, you'll have to work with somebody, some sort of assistant to show work with, and he's like looking out the window, not paying attention whatsoever.
I'm being haunted by the ghost of Christmas Past in a country musical.
Mom is having a rough time now that she is retired, and admits to Mike that her and her husband haven't seen eye to eye, and in the new year, they are separating and buying different houses. This isn't one last Christmas house. This is one last Christmas. And when you find out why they're separating, it's stupid.
It's real stupid.
Anyway, after the conversation, literally every breaker in the house blows. Too many things are plugged in. Stuff catches fire. Children scream.
Dad comes out with a fire extinguisher.
Dogs and cats are living together. Mass hysteria.
Blackouts on the entire citywide.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be like a plot point because like it cuts to commercial and then it comes back, and Brandon and Mike are talking and they're like, "Well, what do we do if we don't have power? We'll have to postpone it to next year." And Mike's like, "We can't." It's like, "Well, then we'll just push it forward a little bit." "We can't. They're selling the house." Just like, "It's okay. We'll figure it out." And then the lights come back on, so neat.
Yeah, apparently his husband is real good at electrical work, because he comes in with his arms out like, "What up? I am the bringer of light."
The other thing is he says, I don't know how long this is going to last, but as long as we keep the animatronics off, it should be fine. this plot point is never come back to. But at the end of the movie, they turn everything on, so we did it, Reddit. Oh.
Well, they also said they bought a bunch of generators from the neighbors, right? So.
Oh, you're right.
So they're basically saying is all these lights are sucking up so much electricity, the house is catching fire, and we had to get separate generators to pull it off.
Yeah. There's been a running joke that Mom keeps blowing her goddamn whistle whenever somebody's not doing as they're told. So at this point, they're like, okay, well, all the power's back on, but we're behind schedule, and we need to figure something out. And Mike's like, here's what we're going to do. You'll talk to this person, you'll talk to this person, I'll go and get the generators from this place. We'll make this whole thing work out. And Mom is like, yes, I have done well, and hands him the whistle. And he's just like, oh my god, it's time.
And they're all like, oh no, what have you done?
So this is where we find out why Mom and Dad are separated. And Dad is confused.
I'd be too.
I would be too. So basically what's happening is since Dad retired a couple of years earlier, he went and got hobbies. This upsets Mom. Because they no longer communicate. Like that.
Do stuff together,
Yeah,
I guess.
because she was at work. Like, when they were both at work, they were both gunning for the same thing. But then he retired, and she was at work, so they were no longer, like, working on the same project. Basically, she's mad they both got their own separate lives.
Yeah, and she's really bitchy about it, too.
She is, because he's like, he says something like, oh, I'll go do this. She's like, yeah, when you're not hanging with your friends or hiking or doing yoga or whatever. And he's like, what? Are you mad at me for hanging out with my friends, hanging out and doing yoga? Like,
he literally asked her, are you mad at me for doing yoga? Like, yeah. Like, is this the part where they talk about the Kendricks or whatever? Like,
I think they all kind of run together.
Okay, so there's a part where he hands her like a Christmas like guest list or whatever of all the people they're inviting or some shit. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, what about the Kendricks? And he's like, oh, they moved to Florida like 3 months ago.
Yeah, Kendricks moved to Florida 3 months ago.
And she's like, I know nothing. You know so much more than me. We used to know the same thing.
Yeah, she's like, you didn't tell me. It's like, well, it's not like a huge... They were our neighbors. Like, it's not like they were family. Mm-hmm. And I didn't not tell you out of, like, malice. I just forgot.
A big thing. There were moving trucks. I thought you knew.
And she is offended. Like... This is a bone of contention for some reason.
And even he's confused, like, what the hell is happening right now?
And he's so, like, the poor guy's so emasculated. Because throughout the whole movie, he's just like, I just want to make sure she's happy. I just want to do what it takes for her, you know. I want to make this a special holiday for her. He's got no idea what's wrong with her.
Because she won't tell him.
Yeah.
I mean, she's trying to be like, we used to be so in sync. Which is code for, we used to know the same things, but now you know more than me, and that pisses me off.
Basically, gosh.
I'm waiting for him to snap and just, like, slap her across the face. Like, bitch.
Mm-hmm. We go into a flashback of young Mike and Andy at the Christmas party when they were teenagers. Hallmark has shelled out the money for Christmas Baby Please Come Home. You will hear it 4 times.
Look, they couldn't afford another song, so they were going to wail on this one.
But I like it. I like that song. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to hear. But you hear it like the first time for 10 seconds, and you're like, I wonder if that was worth it. Then you hear it 4 more times, including a cover.
They got all the rights.
So Mike has a gift he wants to give Andy, and it's a necklace. And he's like, oh, I have a trick called the reappearing necklace or whatever. And she's like, okay, cool, let me see it. He opens up the thing, and it's empty. He closes it, and he tries to open it again, and it's stuck. And he's like, I got this! And he turns around and starts fiddling with it, and he turns back around, and she's gone. She is across the room with some other dude, shattering poor Mike's heart.
What a jerk.
Well, we kind of figure out why. We see this flashback again. Anyway. Back in the present day, the house already has a buyer. It is not on the market, and it has a buyer. It is truly a seller's market right now. Don't we know it?
Yeah, I know. If you got cheap real estate, hit us up.
Hi, if you live in the Leamington, Windsor, Ontario area, and you are selling a house, preferably for very, very cheap.
Or if you're just giving away land.
Call us at 503... Or, seriously, at Empty Square on Twitter. EMPTYSQUARE. Little @ Twitter. Cute?
The comments also work.
Comments also work. Also on Patreon. Patreon.com/EmptySquare. This is not a commercial. Help us. So anyway. Mike is letting the holiday stress get to him. Because he no longer has a job. His parents are splitting up. They are selling the house. And he has been spending time with Andy to the point that makes him think, maybe I don't want to go back to L.A.
And he's sexually frustrated about Andy.
And he is sexually frustrated about Andy. It turns out they're kind of close to New York. I don't know if that's ever explained.
No, that's just like a thing they throw in at the end.
Yeah, they're kind of close to New York, not in L.A. And he is like, he's freaking out. And he goes to, or he's talking to Brandon about it. And he's like, where's all the Christmas holly jolly shit? Like, you know, all I got is stress, and I got no Christmas joy. And Brandon's like, haha, yeah, life sucks. And he's like, how are you okay with this when the world is literally on fire? And he says, because I'm the guy who came this close to becoming a father for 3 times, only to have the adoption fall through. That's why they're so nervous. This is the 4th attempt to adopt a child. And they didn't tell anybody because they didn't want to let people down again.
Oh, it's very sad.
That hit me in the heart.
You'll get it, buddy.
The poor heart. So, and he says basically, there at some point, you have to let things fall apart in order to pick them back up again. And they have a bro hug, and Mike says, "You are going to make a great father," and Brandon says, "You are going to make an okay uncle."
I love it.
I really like. They definitely have like a great brother chemistry,
yeah,
which is something we're not used to seeing. Like we've had nieces and nephews and brothers and whatnot, but they're very like stiff and like relationship wise, like they barely know each other. These guys, you feel like they grew up together.
Like, I love you, but I'd also hit you.
Yeah, okay, so this is the point. This is the Kendricks thing. Where they start talking about how Dad is kind of upset that they're selling the house already. Like, he's not ready. And she's like, well, that's because you're so busy with your friends and taking yoga classes and blah, blah, blah. And I have written here, it's weird that she's mad about this.
It really is. Like, he has... What did she expect him to do in retirement? Like,
I don't know.
Sit on the couch and drink beer all day? He doesn't seem like the beer drinking type.
Yeah.
Like, he does yoga, which is very progressive for a retired man.
Yeah, I don't know, it's so strange that she's mad. Anyway, they show off the house to the client, and the client is the fella from the magic shop. Strange. And he wasn't putting on an act for the kid. He just talks like that.
Again, skids, but less rude.
Yes. Mike follows Andy and the buyer around the house, trying to get him to leave.
He's like, does that smell like black mold?
He's like, yeah, there's the huge plumbing issue. There are so many leaks. Hope you like water. And he's like, there's no leaks. You can verify it with the house inspector. And he like gets right up to a wall and he's like, oh yeah, that's mold. You really got to get into it to smell it. So he leaves and apologizes for being a wang and goes to take her out for a drink and a dinner. At the restaurant, he reveals that inside the little trick they did as a kid, he was going to give her the necklace as like a Christmas present and try to be like, hey, date? And she admits that she has seen every single episode of his show including the one where he got the dog off of a murder charge. What is this show and how do I watch it now?
I told you, I've seen the show. It's bad, and it has 12 seasons, and it's glorious.
Also, any show called Handsome Justice.
You know it's bad.
It sounds like the show Eric Matthews made up. When a crime breaks out, all the cute girls shout, get the good-looking guy.
I miss Boy Meets World.
I do too.
Girl Meets World too.
That was okay.
Why didn't you guys watch more Girl Meets World? We could have had more seasons.
Yeah, man. Get over the fact that it's on the Disney Channel. What do you care?
And that it's about a girl.
Yeah.
You get to see Corey and Topanga again. What more do you want?
Meeting the world. Anyway, the magic guy offers to put an offer on the house, even though it's not on the block. And the dad goes, fine, let's put it on sale. We are having a party Christmas Eve. It'll be like a big open house. Let's just do it.
Yeah, he straight up just like, fuck it, let's just do this.
Yeah. Mike gets a call from his agent saying, good news, we have a meeting with some folks in New York to try to save the show. But the meeting is on Christmas Eve. So...
that sucks.
Yeah, what are you going to do? And he's like, I guess I'm working on Christmas Eve. The next day, they are all building a stage, I guess, for the several performances, including the magic. Because not only is Noah going to perform in front of the people, Mike and Andy are going to perform for the first time since they were kids. Aww.
Aww.
The next scene, Mom talks to Dad about listing the house right away. And she was like, you really surprised me in there, putting up the house right away. I didn't think you would do that. And he's like, what the fuck is going to make you happy?
You wanted to sell the house and move into two separate houses.
Like, he's not upset, but he's like, what? How is this making you mad now?
This was your idea. You're the one who wanted to sell the house.
So, that's a whole thing. Dad talks about how hard he's trying to make this work and how difficult she is making this on him. And that's his first time. Like, again, he's not angry about it, but he's like, you have no idea the stuff I'm going through right now. Like, for God's sakes, give me something.
I'm thinking about going back to work just so I don't have to talk to your mother.
Dad clearly does not want to sell the house, nor does he want to separate from his wife. But Mike finally tells him that he knows, so he doesn't have to keep hiding it from him. But he's super optimistic about it. But he also admits that, like, part of it's his fault for, like, doing other stuff and, like, drifting apart from the family, which is not what it sounds like he did.
No, he got a life.
I don't know.
So he didn't invite his wife to poker night a few times. Mm-hmm. What the hell? She could take yoga too.
Yeah, there's no problem. Andy flashes back to the Christmas party with the necklace trick again. But this time we are seeing it from Andy's point of view. And she, like, they're under the mistletoe. Mm-hmm. And that's what she thinks they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so she's, like, trying to, like, kiss him and lean in. And he's so, like, nervously befuddled with his trick that he's just like, I gotta... And then, like, she's full-on, like, leans in, and he turns his back and tries to work on the trick. And then, so she has a moment where she's like, oh, okay, I can see where this is going. I'm gonna go.
Hey, Tyler. How's it going? And she leaves with a different dude.
And so, like, they're both idiots, is basically the problem. Both teenage idiots.
Yeah, and according to him, from that wine and dine dinner, he was just like, and then you went out with Tyler, and that was pretty much the end for me. She's like, who the fuck is Tyler?
Yeah.
It's like your high school boyfriend. I had a high school boyfriend. Oh my god, I had a high school boyfriend.
That was a nice scene. I really liked it.
Like, she cared about him, and Tyler was just like a high school fling.
Just like a dude, yeah. So that's one of those things, like, they both look back on when they were older at night trying to sleep. And they were just, like, they both went, oh, God. We've all been there. So Mike's Christmas Eve meeting gets pushed from the morning to the afternoon, which means he's probably going to miss Noah's magic show, which is super sad. Surely he won't have to make some choice, his career over his family now, would he?
I know. Also, what TV exec works Christmas Eve?
Well, they mention it's because they don't want to, like, keep the show going. And by putting it on Christmas Eve, they hope to, like, oh, well, nobody's going to work that. They're not going to accept it. But they did. Because never trust a TV executive.
Like... Joke's on you. I didn't want to see my family for Christmas anyway.
Where'd you go, dicks? So Mom talks about how she has found a house. It is small. It is a fixer-upper. It is a real project. So she asked her favorite handyman to help her out. I thought she was going to, like, turn and just, like, this is my new boyfriend. But no, she was talking about her husband. They are going to just fix up a house together. And keep living together. Which is nice that they found something to do to keep things together. This sounds like there's going to be a sequel to this. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, like, another Hallmark Christmas movie.
Like, it's going to be him coming out of retirement. Because clearly he used to do, like, construction or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's him working on the house. And she's sitting there drinking fucking lemonade. And she's like, I'm so happy we could do a project together. And he's like, uh-huh.
Brandon goes and takes a call while all this is happening. And he comes back and looks at Jake. And he smiles. And Jake goes, really? And he goes, yep. And there's, like, a tear in his eye. You can see, like, the quiver. The adoption has gone through. They are going to be parents.
Yay!
Aww. Christmas Eve, the Christmas Eve meeting that Mike goes on is late, which means he's going to be even later should he decide to go through with this. Mm-hmm. Turns out the show isn't canceled. It's just not being made anymore. And they have to figure out a way to freshen it up.
What's that thing Rooster Teeth said? It's not canceled.
It's not canceled. We just don't know if we're going to make more episodes. The guy who wanted it canceled was fired.
Oh, well, that solves that problem.
Damn. Meanwhile, Mike is not paying any attention whatsoever. He is, like, flashing back to Andy putting, like, Christmas ornaments on the tree. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, so here's what we're going to do. What if we make him a lawyer and a doctor? Has that ever been done before? What if we gave him a duck? What if...
Like, this is a terrible show that it already was, and it's going to become even worse. It's going to be like Handsome Justice MD. It's going to be awful, and I love it.
And they're like, Mike, what do you think? And he's like, I don't care. I have Christmas stuff to go do. If you guys keep the show on, great. If not, I'll see you. And he gets up and leaves. We finally see the house in its full glory. I'll just read you what I have verbatim. Jesus Christ, the electric bill must be through the goddamn roof. I would absolutely go to this place. This is going to be our house. I found it. We take a few scenes to explore the thing, and it is so well decorated. There's, like, fake snow inside. There's Christmas projections on the wall. There is an actual train room. They weren't lying. There are about 15 trees. My God, this is amazing. Is that an animatronic Santa? Well, that's more creepy than anything.
The trains do have their own room.
Yeah, they do.
There's a snowflake tunnel. It's a whole thing. This is an elaborate Christmas they have put up.
Looks amazing. They play Christmas Baby Please Come Home one more time because we paid for it. We're gonna use it. Yo. Noah is freaking out about his show. But remember, kid, if you are not nervous, then you're not doing it right. Mm-hmm. And so Mom comes in and just, like, kind of bucks him up. Like, hey, it's going to be fine. The magic guy who's going to buy the house comes up and he goes, all right, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to buy it now, and I'm going to buy it in cash. And she went, whoa. Dope. Let's go do that.
Check, please.
Mike, no, it's in cash.
Yeah, he has to write a check. He can't just
nonsense.
Give her a suitcase of money.
In a suitcase full of money. I always thought that's what it meant.
What, in cash?
Yeah, I guess it does mean, like, liquid cash and not a loan, but...
Yeah, it means that you have it in your bank account. it doesn't mean that you show up with a Santa Claus bag full of money.
Well, I know that now. At the age of 30. Mike makes it back in time for Noah's magic show. I don't know how, but who cares?
They must be in Jersey. Everything happens in Jersey.
So people love the show. Mike is in his little cape. That's funny. Mm-hmm. Kid does some tricks. Everybody digs it. Noah brings up the little girl from his class to help him out.
Yeah, get some, Noah.
Boy. And Mike and Andy get into this like little disappearing box where they go in the box and somebody else comes out. So they go in the box. And it's actually a nice little shot. Mm-hmm. A lot of the transitions in this movie are very good.
You can hear Dad say, "I'm trying to get into character. Please shut up."
Yeah. So Mike and Andy get in the box. The box spins around, and out comes Santa Claus. Dad is playing Santa Claus. That's cute.
It is.
I would like a Christmas magic show. Mike and Andy go into the house, and Mike says, "I have one more trick to show her." And he brings out the necklace box. Only this time, it actually works. And Andy goes, "Do I say some magic words?" And he's like, "Yeah, go for it." And she goes, "I don't want you to move back to Los Angeles." And he's like, "Well, good news."
I was expecting abracadabra, but okay.
At this moment in the movie, they intercut the shot of them as adults with the shot of them as teenagers.
It's sweet.
It's very sweet. And then, like, the trick goes off without a hitch for both, like, age groups. And then the camera pans up, and there's mistletoe. And they finally get the kiss they so richly deserve. It was a very cute scene, because they kept flashing back, and there was, like, a transition, like, wave going through the screen. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
We go through the party as it's happening when Christmas Baby Please Come Home plays for a fourth time, but this time it's a cover song. It's a little bit slower and it's a little bit more summy uppy. Dad, who was playing Santa the whole time, finally reconnects with Mom and gives her a gift. It is a snow globe of the Christmas house inside of it.
It's really cute.
That's nice.
It's honking, too.
It is huge. You could kill a motherfucker with that.
It's the size of someone's head. Mm-hmm. Or her ego. You never really know.
So they will always remember the Christmas house. Brandon and Jake don't really get a resolution because they did theirs earlier in the movie. So they just have a snowball fight.
Yeah. You missed one of the favorite quotes I had. Who's your favorite son now? The one who's moving away or the one who's giving you a grandchild?
Like I said, these two grew up together. That's brother stuff. So the next day, they talk about all the people who came through the house. And while a lot of them were interested, nobody put in an offer. And Magic Guy rescinded his for some reason.
She's lying out her ass.
I think so, too. But one offer did come through on Christmas Day. There was one offer at the last minute. Mike's. He is going to buy the house from his parents because while the show is not canceled, they are spinning it off to New York, which means he can commute. And so he is going to buy the Christmas house and decorate it every year to keep it in the family. So, we finally get our Merry Christmas kiss, which we have been denied for a couple of movies now.
Merry Christmas, lead.
Merry Christmas, lead. Mwah. And we get the end of the film where we get a lot of snapshots of like a where are they now, which is good because that's usually how I sum up these things anyway. Brandon and Jake take a photo of their new son. Mom and Dad are hiking together. Having finally connected with one another and taking up hobbies with each other. Andy, Mike, and Noah are inside the Christmas house looking through a photo album. Everyone is happy. Curtain down.
And they were happy.
I said when we first started watching this, during the first commercial break, I said if nothing screws it up, this would be my favorite movie. And nothing screwed it up.
You missed the actual true ending of this thing.
You're right. You want to hit it?
Okay, so there's a running joke that in the meantime, when his show is canceled or not, in this weird Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we're canceled but we're not universe, he has to do a commercial for, what was it called? Grift body spray, which is definitely not Axe, guys. And he was running through a series of just terrible, like, lines to say for this. And the end is an honest-to-God commercial for Grift body spray.
Grift body spray. Because sometimes Santa wants to smell good. Something like that.
And then he ends it with, like, his catchphrase from the show, doesn't he? Like, no, your stench is out of order.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to black.
You're right. That is the button. And he is going to join the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah. With the house.
With the house. Because if the house don't come, nothing happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved this movie within like the first 10 minutes. I thought the character, it's probably the best acted that we've had.
Yeah.
I think it's, the best written. It was the most entertaining, which is nice. Definitely. And it feels like a legit Christmas movie. Like you said, a good mark of these movies is if given a bit of a budget and like a bit more like oomph behind it, could it be an actual like for theater film? Mm-hmm. And I think this could.
I think so too. You just cut down a few things. You expand why Mom is being such a bitch.
Yeah, or at the very least, like a Netflix movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
do you think Netflix movies are bigger budgeted than Hallmark movies?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Oh.
Because, well, I don't know why. For some reason, I think that.
I was about to say, but Netflix, I feel like Netflix focuses on, like, quality, and Hallmark is out there for the quantity.
I was going to say, like, there are 40 of these movies being made this year. Netflix did, like, 3. Mm-hmm. So it might be the same budget, but one's stretched out over 40, one is stretched out over 3. So it's all about division. But yeah, I think Major Lillywhite is a great choice. He's a very a very charismatic dude. Nothing
funny.
He's funny. Nothing was overwrought. Like they had their 2 gay characters, and it didn't like hit you over the head with it. Like they didn't overcorrect. It was a solid like story about them just trying to adopt a child. Great. They're too like well done as well. Neither of them were like gay caricatures.
That's true. Being gay wasn't their personality.
It wasn't their personality. They weren't like overly flamboyant. They weren't like super like swishy. They were just people. This is just a movie about people, and it's done very well. They
did ask one of the gay brother there, like, everyone would tell you you're too much, and his husband would be like, all the time.
All the time. But yeah, I think it did what it set out to do, and I think it did it very well. What's your score?
Oh, I think this deserves a 9.
You think it deserves a 9?
Yeah.
What would make it a 10?
Explain to me why Mom's being such a twat. Like, she tried to explain it, but it's not happening.
Oh, well, she explained it. She explained it fine. It's just a stupid explanation.
I want a better explanation. Why would you give it?
So, I've been very judicious with my score. But I gave this one a 10.
I'm thinking about it. I'm, like, trying to justate it. Like, is there anything really to change besides me just a cold, hard slap across Mom's face?
I was going to say, like, clearly it's not a perfect movie. It is still a Hallmark movie. But the other thing is, I don't think we're going to get better than this.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think we might have things as good, but I don't see how. We could get better than this. Because like I said, it's not just like a good Hallmark movie. I think with a little extra love and care, it could just be a straight movie.
That's true. And The Darlings.
Yeah, exactly. The Darlings was a lot like that too. So yeah, it got me. I had all the emotional moments hit me without it being manipulative, which you guys know I hate. And that doesn't happen here. So yeah, I would give it a 10. I liked it that much. I don't think it's gonna get better than this.
I'm starting to think about it, and I think you're right. I think that there's no real way to make this movie better. Maybe slap mom once just for me.
There is a way to make it better, but just not within the confines of a Hallmark movie.
That's true. Buy the rights, make it a real movie.
Yeah.
I say that like it's not a real movie. It is a real movie.
It is a real movie, but it's not a real movie.
Put it in theaters next to Christopher Nolan.
Perfect. He would love that.
It's you in the Christmas house, asshole. What do you feel about that?
And you're about to make the same amount of money. But yeah, I think as for, it was this one, Christmas with the Darlings, and One Royal Holiday.
They were all fantastic.
Are as good as I think these are going to get. And we are 16 movies in, 17 movies in.
We're like halfway, aren't we?
Yeah, something like that.
Almost halfway. Yeah, because there's 40.
There's 40, so we're almost there. I think we have a good enough sample of films to kind of decide what is what. And yeah, I don't think within the confines of a Hallmark movie, I don't know that it can get better than this.
I think you're right. I think you're right with your 10, and I was wrong with the 9. Mostly because I just like the Darlings better. But like,
I feel you. Like I said, the Darlings is a really good movie as well. But there's some things about the Darlings that didn't quite hit this movie, and there are some things that the Darlings did better that this movie didn't quite hit. But I think.
I mean, the Darlings did the, what was that thing? The Umbrella Academy thing where they're driving past each other like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
What? Like Five and Vanya just
exactly
driving in the night.
So, there's such a gulf between, a bad Hallmark movie and a good Hallmark movie. You wouldn't think there would be.
No, but these it really could be released in theaters if you just put it through one more time.
Give it a little spit shine and some polish.
And a significantly bigger budget.
And a film director instead of a TV director.
Yeah. Could you imagine that house lit up with $1 million budget? Holy shit.
Give the person who did John M. Chu.
Who?
Who did a couple of things, but he also did Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah!
The way he shot the wedding.
Yes!
With the Christmas house.
Yes!
See what I mean? So, like I said, give it a little bit of a spit shine, and I think within the confines of a Hallmark movie, I don't know that it can get better than this. And maybe it will. We have 10, 9, 8 more movies this week alone.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd like to watch a movie Christmas Waltz, I guess, which is coming up in a couple days. To look at that and go fucking Christmas house, bullshit. This is the movie. I would love for one of these movies to be my Omega Okada, but that's a reference that nobody's gonna get, but the right people are gonna get.
Me.
Hell yeah. That would break the scale, but I think this is it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is it. So I'm gonna give it the 10.
Okay, I'll agree with you.
You're gonna change around?
Yeah. It's as good as the Darlings.
Because you don't have to.
I know, but you're right. How the hell could you possibly improve upon this? Other than more money, better writers, and a film director.
I was gonna say in a Hulu,
other than straight up a film studio going, "Hi, we saw this movie and we want to make money off of it.
We want to do it again, please.
We'd like to do this movie again, but with Meryl Streep." Meryl Streep would make some fucking sense.
Yeah, but then they'd make me hate Meryl Streep, and that's a whole thing.
So I think you're right.
But yeah, so I think that would make this, like I said, I've tried to be judicious with my scores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just start like handing out 10s like they're candy, you know. I'm not a 10 whore, but
you're a 10 to me.
Aww. And I'm a whore to a lot of other people. But I think this deserves it. It's been about 4 hours since we watched it, so yes. I've had time to think and ruminating over like my scores can sometimes change wildly while we talk about it.
That's true.
Because there are moments where I'll be like, oh, that was pretty good, and then we'll talk about it, and you'll be like, wait a minute, that was stupid. And then it gets knocked down or it gets knocked up and that kind of thing.
You don't think the mom subplot of being utterly confusing doesn't knock it anywhere? Or is the fact that it's utterly confusing the point?
Maybe it's the point, but like I said, we have to mark on a bell curve of Hallmark movies, so like, yeah, that's an issue, but not enough of an issue for me to really care about that much.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's, I think it kind of surprised me. Because I did not want to watch this movie. I did not want to watch. That's the problem with doing this podcast. It's like it's easy and it's fun and I like it, but when you do it 4 or 5 times a week, it's gonna start to grate on you. And I didn't sleep well last night, and like I'm tired and I'm out of anxiety medicine, and like there's a whole lot of like issues where I'm just like, I don't wanna, but you got a new bed and I really want to sleep on it. So the fact that like any lesser movie I'd have been super harsh on. So like I did not come into this movie with like a open mind, like this is gonna be great. I was just like, fucking nourish the child within me, assholes.
And they did.
They
loaded the cannon with Christmas and fired it at your face.
They really did. That's a super nice house.
It's a super nice house, and if it's for sale, let us know. And on top of that, they did to that house what I can only imagine you're going to do to our house one day while I'm at work.
Hell yeah. I'm
gonna come home one day and I'm gonna be like, Did we always live in a house made of candy?
Yes. You just didn't know.
I didn't.
But yeah, so that is A Christmas House. Something, a very simple title.
Which sounds like a Hallmark movie right off the bat.
It does. But much like the movie taught us, we cannot keep ruminating on the past.
Yeah.
We must go into the future. And tomorrow, it's live stream day.
Woo!
And it is it a Little Christmas Charm is what we're doing?
When do we do Godwink, or is that regular flavor?
I actually think it might be Godwink. It is.
Is it Godwink?
It's a Godwink tomorrow.
Woo! Godwink!
A Godwink Christmas, which is... not on here. Something happened. Anyway, a Godwink Christmas, which is one in a series of films that we have not seen. So this is going to be a little bit like watching the Avengers Age of Ultron without watching the other 18 movies you needed to watch. So
we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it just because it looks kind of ridiculous.
It does, doesn't it? And it's a Hallmark movie and mystery movie, which means it's going to be a live stream.
Which means it's going to be ridiculous. So if you want to watch along with us, it'll be Tuesday, November 24th at 4 o'clock, I think is when we do it. Yeah.
4 o'clock West Coast, 7 o'clock East Coast. Mm-hmm. We'll watch it for a couple hours. And at some point, maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe not. Mm-hmm. We have to start doing some double duty films.
That's true.
Some double features. So It might also be Heart of the Holidays.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, we might just do it spur of the moment, so you might be stuck with us for like 4 fucking hours tomorrow.
But you love us, though, right?
Right?
So
Right?
you don't mind spending 4 hours with us.
Right?
Because I'm hilarious.
Right?
And adorable.
Right?
And he is also hilarious.
Bread makes you fat?
Bread makes you fat.
So we will do that, but that is tomorrow's issue. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you, well, we'll deal with that later. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're still with us after 16, 17, 18 of these things.
How's our sanity doing, by the way? You can rewind and see our sanity.
That's true. What's weird is in the first episode I spoke with a British accent. That was...
You did?
No. Oh yes, welcome to Binging with Badness. We have... And then by like episode 30 I'm just gonna be like, ah! Fucking Holly! You don't think so?
Well, we still have to watch Holly and Ivy, so you might be waving your arms about...
We have so many movies. Anyway, that's for tomorrow, but as for right now, cutes, should they watch The Thing?
Watch The Thing!
Watch The Thing. This is definitely one to go out of your way. If you like these kinds of Hallmark movies, this is the one you have to see.
If you like Christmas movies, watch this movie.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. But as for us, if you want to talk to us on the internet, if you got a Twitter, you can do that, I guess. That'd be nice.
Please?
You can follow me on Twitter at Empty Square, EMPTYSQUARE. Cutes.
You can follow me at Aquadia_.
And if you are so inclined, if you are so, like, emboldened by the generosity of us giving this movie a 10, and you're like, they deserve money. That's a weird way of thinking, but thanks. You can do so at patreon.com/emptysquare. Help us keep this thing going.
Donate the number of dollars you think this movie deserves.
That's right. It's on a 100-point scale for you. No. Seriously, anything helps. It's amazing that people give any money at all. I'm floored every single day. So if you want to help us along, that would be great. Patreon.com/emptysquare.
Don't forget to not like and subscribe in... What was it? Cooch, what's the thing they always say?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Do the thing.
Smash that like button. Hit that bell. Turn that crank. Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Pass it. No.
But no, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think.
Did you get your tree yet?
Did you get your tree? We got ours.
How's your Christmas going? Do you celebrate Christmas? We recently remembered what Kwanzaa was.
Yeah, there's an episode of the Proud Family that's all about Kwanzaa.
Yeah. It's about ghosts.
It's about ghosts. Not Kwanzaa, the episode of the Proud Family.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. Anyway, we have to go. I have to go to sleep.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
And we'll see you tomorrow for the live stream. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.